The first time Grace asked me to pretend to be her boyfriend, I laughed because I thought it was another one of her harmless jokes. 10 minutes later, I was standing beside her in front of her parents' front porch in Asheville, North Carolina, holding a bouquet of flowers I hadn't bought for romance, wearing a borrowed blazer, and realizing that one small favor was about to change both of our lives forever. I had promised myself I would never cross the invisible line between friendship and love, but life has a strange way of rewriting promises when two hearts are forced to face the truth. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, hope, forgiveness, compassion, and second chances, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, leave a thoughtful comment, and subscribe to our channel for more heartfelt stories that remind us how powerful love and friendship can truly be. My name is Caleb, and Grace had been my best friend for almost 8 years. We met while volunteering at a community food pantry after college. She was the kind of person who remembered everyone's birthday, always carried extra gloves for homeless people during winter, and somehow made every room feel brighter just by walking into it. We had been through failed jobs, broken dreams, family illnesses, and countless late-night conversations over coffee. Everyone assumed we were dating. We never corrected them unless someone asked directly. It simply seemed easier that way. Then everything changed when Grace's older sister announced a surprise family reunion at a mountain lodge in Tennessee. Her parents had spent years worrying that Grace devoted too much time to work and volunteering instead of building a family of her own. She didn't want another weekend filled with awkward questions, blind date suggestions, or disappointed looks. She asked if I would come along and pretend we were finally together. I agreed because that's what best friends do. The weekend began smoothly. Her parents welcomed me warmly. Her nieces adored me. We laughed around the fireplace, played board games, and hiked peaceful forest trails beneath colorful autumn leaves. For the first time, pretending didn't feel exhausting. It felt comfortable. Then an unexpected thunderstorm rolled across the mountains. The heavy rain damaged part of the lodge's roof, forcing several guests to move into different rooms. The manager apologized repeatedly, explaining that only one room remained available for Grace and me. Every other room had flooded or lost electricity. Neither of us argued. We simply carried our bags upstairs. The room was simple, with one large bed, a fireplace, and rain tapping softly against the windows. Instead of feeling awkward, the silence felt strangely peaceful. We spent hours talking the way we always had, except this time the conversations drifted deeper than ever before. We spoke about childhood dreams, the fears we had hidden from everyone else, and the loneliness that sometimes followed us despite always being surrounded by people. Grace admitted she often wondered whether she had become so comfortable protecting her heart that she no longer recognized when someone truly loved her. Hearing those words felt like someone had gently opened a door I had spent years keeping locked. I almost confessed everything. Instead, I smiled and wished her good night. Sleep never came. The next morning, I found Grace sitting alone on the porch watching the sunrise spread across the mountains. She looked peaceful, yet there was sadness in her eyes. She quietly admitted that pretending had become much harder than she expected because somewhere along the way, the line between acting and reality had disappeared. At that moment, her father walked outside. I expected disappointment. Instead, he smiled gently. He admitted he had suspected the truth from the beginning. What surprised him wasn't that we had been pretending. It was realizing how naturally we cared for one another. He said real love rarely begins with dramatic moments. Sometimes it grows quietly through years of loyalty, patience, sacrifice, and showing up when life becomes difficult. His words stayed with me for the rest of the day. When the reunion ended, Grace and I drove back toward Asheville without saying much. Neither of us wanted the weekend to end because we both knew life would become normal again once we returned home. Halfway through the drive, we stopped beside a quiet lake where we had often shared coffee after volunteering. There, surrounded by still water and golden trees, I finally admitted what I had buried for years. I told Grace that pretending to be her boyfriend had been the easiest role I had ever played because in my heart I had already loved her long before she ever asked. Tears filled her eyes before she smiled. She confessed she had been hoping I would say those words, not because of the family reunion, not because of the shared room, but because our friendship had slowly become the safest place either of us had ever known. Nothing magical happened overnight after that. We still faced disagreements, stressful work days, and uncertain futures. But every challenge felt different because we were finally facing them honestly instead of hiding behind friendship alone. A year later, we returned to that same mountain lodge. This time there was no pretending, no unexpected room changes, and no borrowed stories. We stood together beneath the same peaceful mountain, surrounded by family who had watched our journey unfold and promised to spend our lives choosing one another every single day. Before this story comes to an end, we'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment telling us whether you believe the strongest relationships often begin as genuine friendships. Your thoughts may encourage someone who needs hope today. And if this story touched your heart, reminded you that patience, honesty, and kindness can change a life, please support the channel by liking this video, sharing it with someone you care about, and subscribing so we can continue bringing you stories that celebrate faith, hope, compassion, and the quiet miracles that happen when people choose love over fear. Sometimes the greatest love stories never begin with fireworks. Sometimes they begin with two faithful friends, one unexpected favor, and the courage to stop pretending.